If you own an Apple or a Samsung watch, what's something you wish was better? For me, it definitely has to be the battery life. While everything from their software, third-party app support to the core performance is undeniably awesome, all that comes at a cost of battery life. Now, if you have been following our channel regularly, you know that I love using and testing smartwatches. And I am always on the lookout for the perfect smartwatch that delivers exactly what I want. In doing so, I recently stumbled upon the Amazfit GTR3 and the GTS3. With a price tag of around $180 and quite an impressive spec sheet, it does seem like a cheaper, viable alternative to other costlier smartwatches out there. But is it really? Let's find out. Okay, starting off with the design, well, I think it looks pretty generic. I have the Amazfit GTR3 in black, while it's available with a grey finish too. Whichever option you choose to go for, the watch comes with a 22mm universal strap buckle, meaning that if you don't feel the default strap options are up to your wheelhouse, you can always buy a third-party strap that matches your style. Regardless, the default silicone straps feel comfortable, and thanks to its lightweight aluminum build quality, wearing this watch all day has not been problematic for me in any way. On the back, protruding slightly, is the BioTracker PPG 3.0 sensor, whereas you get two buttons, a rotating crown and an extra button on the right for navigation and easy access to apps. The crown lets you scroll through options, it lets you open up the app list, and also acts as the home button. You can also customize it to trigger a certain function by long pressing it. In my case, I've set it to summoning the offline voice assistant. Likewise, the button down below brings out the exercise menu by default, but you can customize it to launch whatever function you please as well. By the way, if you prefer a squarish form factor, you can get the Amazfit GTS3 instead. S for squarish and R for round. That's how I distinguish these two smartwatch lineups. Their specs are pretty similar and offer near identical functions for the same price tag. But because I prefer this classy circular look, I chose this one. Okay, the display side of things is where I have a lot to praise for the GTR3. It features a 1.39 inches AMOLED screen with 336 ppi and a resolution of 454 by 454 pixels. And let me just tell you, this is an amazing display to look at and interact with. The screen's AMOLED nature means you're getting deep blacks and amazing contrast. Now, although its bezels are not the slimmest, when you set a dark themed wallpaper here, the bezels seem almost non-existent. Goes on to show just how good the contrast on this thing is. Plus, with 1000 nits of peak brightness, this smartwatch is bright enough even for the sunniest or brightest of ambient conditions. Similarly, I haven't faced any touch responsiveness issues on the Amazfit GTR3 either. The animations while navigating the watch did feel a tad bit slow initially, but everything now runs pretty smooth thanks to a recent update. The only thing that this screen misses is some form of display protection. Since it does not have a physical bezel towering over the screen like Samsung's Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, it's more likely to get scratches when striking a solid surface. Alright, let's now talk about the health and fitness tracking abilities of the Amazfit GTR3. For the most part, it's got everything you'd expect, ranging from heart rate monitoring to PO2 monitoring, sleep tracking, step and calorie counting, etc. etc. Having said that, there is no skin temperature monitoring here, which is a little disappointing. The Huawei Watch GT3 that I used before this one had this feature, and you can even get it on cheaper devices, although I cannot speak of their accuracy with much confidence. Regardless, I think that this feature comes really handy during these COVID times. I found its speedometer and heart rate sensor to be pretty accurate though. Also, the GTR3 step tracking is incredibly accurate. It recorded the time I went to sleep and the time I got up quite precisely, and I am really impressed with that. Moreover, the watch also measures your deep and REM sleep cycles alongside sleep breathing quality. For the latter, it measures your blood saturation overnight and on an hourly basis and tells you what your breathing quality score is, which in turn helps you form a good sleeping habit. Another feature that I'm incredibly fond of here is something called one-time measurement. It takes around 45 seconds to complete, but it covers your heart rate, stress, and SpO2 in one take so that you don't have to record them individually for a given moment. However, I do have to tell you that I've encountered some inaccuracies with the SpO2 monitoring on the Amazfit GTR3. On a few occasions, it showed really low SpO2 readings, which scared me a lot. So to cross-check, I used my oximeter, which gave a 98% SpO2 reading instead. This has happened only 2 to 3 times with me, but I just thought you guys should know that. The watch also brings a PI score, which is calculated based on the physical intensity of activities. The more cardiorespiratory exercises you do, the more your weekly PI score is. As you can see, my PI score is really low, meaning my exercises are not as physically strenuous as they should be. Alright, in terms of fitness, the GTR3 does not disappoint though. You get more than 150 exercise modes here, including the basic ones like indoor and outdoor running, walking, cycling and swimming, to hula hooping, skiing, frisbee, kite flying, etc. Now, I am not so much of a fitness freak, but I do go for a run every now and then. During these times, I would turn on the built-in GPS on the watch. That works really great, by the way. You can also adjust the accuracy of the navigation system to prolong battery backup via the settings. But do note that it takes some time to log the GPS signal when initially turning it on. On a related note, the automatic workout detection feature leaves little to complain about as well. It's not as good as what I've experienced with the Galaxy Watch 4, but it's not bad either. As I mentioned earlier, I go for outdoor runs often, and this watch would recognize it after 5 to 6 minutes into the workout. Okay, moving on, the GTR3 runs on Zepp OS, which is Amazfit's proprietary operating system for its smartwatches. Likewise, all your workout and health-related data syncs with the Zepp app, which is available on both Android and iOS platforms. While the app itself is not the most intuitive, I would say that it gets the job done. It is very simple to use, which is something I really appreciate. Having said that, just like the Huawei Watch GT3, you don't get a lot of third-party app support here. There are a few options for different apps, but personally, I don't find them that useful. Anyway, it has a pretty decent selection of watch faces though, and I am totally obsessed with this cat watch face because, well, I am obsessed with cats. More on the app, I haven't had the most bug-free experience with it. For instance, notifications don't appear instantaneously most of the time, and I had to check my phone instead, which defeats the primary purpose of having notifications pop up on your watch in the first place. And of course, the notifications are not actionable either, and all you can do from the watch is view and delete them. Also, the GTR3 has a built-in microphone, but since it is not complemented by a speaker, you cannot make or receive calls here, although it does support call notifications. The Amazfit GTR3 Pro, which is a slightly more expensive version of this watch, can indeed make and receive calls. So if this is important to you, I would suggest you go for the Pro version instead. Okay, one incredibly annoying and possibly a deal-breaking bug I've had with the Amazfit GTR3 is that it would just shut down and restart for no reason. This has been happening from the day I started using it, and even after 2 updates I've received so far, this issue is still not fixed. Hopefully Amazfit will look into this ASAP. On the other hand, the watch comes with Amazon Alexa as well as an offline voice assistant support. As a result, you can give voice commands like start workout and brightness up for hands-free control. This feature is not an absolute necessity, but it does make operating the watch a little simpler. Plus, it's pretty fun to use as well. Finally, something that the Amazfit GTR3 utterly nails is its battery life. Amazfit promises a whopping 21 days of backup, whereas I managed to get around 12 days of endurance when keeping all the assorted health functions on, the brightness level to 50%, and using a live watch face. Now, considering how all these elements are highly battery consuming, this is a holy grail for someone who does not like charging their watch every other day. However, do note that if you choose to get the GTS3, it does not have as good battery life as this one since it features a smaller battery. For charging, you get a magnetic one inside the box, which fills up the watch from 0 to 100% in about 2 hours. Okay, summarizing my experience with the Amazfit GTR3, well, it has been bittersweet. On one hand, I really appreciate its battery life and its amazing display, whereas it is competent with health and fitness related stuff with great accuracy as well. But at the same time, the persistent software bugs have made my experience somewhat bitter. However, the few software-related issues that I discussed earlier are something that can be fixed with updates, so I would not worry about that too much. Overall, the Amazfit GTR3 does everything a good smartwatch should do. And looking at its relatively cheaper price tag, this sure seems like a worthy option against the more expensive alternatives. So guys, that was all for my full review of the Amazfit GTR3 and the GTS3. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon as well. Till then, I'm Pratima and I will see you in my next video.